NRATV with Grant Stinchfield.
Hi there, folks. Welcome to the program. There are evil forces at work trying to destroy the American way of life. Many of them are snot-nosed rich kids living in their parents' basement who call themselves Antifa. They plan on showing up tonight once again on the Berkeley campus to protest conservative talker Ben Shapiro. You'll remember when Kiara Robles went to her Milo Yiannopoulos speak, the event was eventually canceled, but not before she was pepper sprayed in the face. Now she's taking her fight to the court system because, as she says, someone has got to stop them.
They're out there with their signs saying that this is a civil war, and then they're beating people up with their flags saying this is a civil war, and everyone on the left just condones it. It's like in California, literally everyone thinks, oh, well, you know, most of them were peaceful. I was saying that as I got pepper sprayed, and that wasn't even the worst of it. I have no idea how much worse it's going to get. I really don't want to find out, but that's why I go to these things and, you know, to the best of my abilities, try and say, like, please to God, like, can this just stop? Can this stop? Can we actually have an intellectual debate on a college campus? Apparently not.
Well, you wonder if it can get worse. It most likely can. Antifa has been not shy about saying they will resort to violence. In fact, they tell us it is their only option is resorting to violence. It is not the American way, but then this is what they do. They set out to destroy the American way. We will have to see if tonight's event gets shut down in the same manner. There is a large police presence right there. They are already getting ready. Here's a headline from the Los Angeles Times posted an hour ago, quote, unprecedented measures at Berkeley for conservative writers' speech. Hopefully, we will see police not stand by and watch like we did the last time around. Well, joining me now is the attorney who filed a lawsuit on behalf of Kiara, Larry Klayman with Freedom Watch. Larry, as always, it's good to see you again.
The same.
So what do you expect from tonight, Larry?
But in the past, we saw the Berkeley Police Department sit around twiddling their thumbs as people like Kiara were being pepper sprayed and beaten up. We hope that they've learned a lesson, and we hope that our lawsuit has convinced them that it's not to their advantage, legally, ethically, or otherwise, not to protect people that come to that speech. Now, I'm very disappointed to see the president of Berkeley make a statement that she opposes everything that Ben Shapiro stands for. Not everybody agrees with Ben Shapiro. In fact, he's a never-Trumper. He doesn't even support Trump. So why they're taking such a firm stand to whip up violence against this guy? He deserves the right to speak. He deserves to be respected. He is a conservative. And, of course, that's antithetical for Berkeley. I mean, this is the bastion of left-wing, frankly, communism in this country.
Yeah, it sure is. And, you know, when you hear the president of Berkeley come out and say something like that, Berkeley has been self-described as the birthplace of free speech. There's no free speech left on that campus or anywhere near it.
Well, no more than there was in the Soviet Union, for that matter. Berkeley, we know with Angela Davis back in my days, you know, during the Vietnam War, very radical, it's continued to be radical. And that's their right. If that's what they want to do there, you don't have to go to Berkeley. I wouldn't have gone to school there. But the reality is that you have to have a right to speak. And if you don't have a right to speak in this country, then we're better a little off than North Korea with Kim Jong-un. Berkeley may be the equivalent of Phnom Penh in many ways.
So, Larry Klayman, Freedom Watch, you've made it your mission to speak out and fight out against groups like this that are really anti-freedom, anti-American groups and the things that they are doing. They have now come out publicly and said, you know what, we will turn to violence to stop authoritarianism, which I don't even know where they're saying authoritarianism is even coming from, because if Donald Trump was an authoritarian, we would see a lot more going on in Washington, and right now we don't see anything happening in Washington.
Well, in fact, Ben Shapiro, like I said, I respect what he has to say. I don't agree with it. I frankly love President Trump. I think he's doing a great job, and I think he's going to be a great president. But Ben Shapiro does not like Trump. He doesn't believe that President Trump is a conservative. And for these leftists to come out and threaten violence to try to disrupt free speech, frankly, he agrees with a lot of what they say in some respects. So this is not something which should happen on a college campus. But Ben Shapiro is performing a valid function. He's educating people. He's getting them to think. He's getting them to understand different points of view. And Berkeley, frankly, is the worst case, but it exists everywhere. My alma mater, Duke University, has become very far left. It wasn't that way when I went to it many, many years ago. But this is the trend in universities today. And for people that are watching and have kids, I think they should pay attention where their kids are going to school. because it's literally a brainwashing.
All right, so Larry, you and Kiara have this lawsuit going. You've got Berkeley, the Berkeley Police Department. Are you suing anybody from Antifa, and how does that even work? I mean, are they even an organized group?
Well, we are suing them. We have the process servers out looking for them right now. We know that a lot of what went on was centered in San Francisco, downtown. We know the website. We can get to them. In today's day and age, for better or worse, you can find people, and they will be held accountable, and the leaders will be held accountable. And even though they may not be a corporation or a formal entity, we can sue the individuals for whipping up violence. You know, just recently there was a case against President Trump, I believe it was in Kentucky, where a judge upheld a complaint, allowed the case to go forward, where they claimed that President Trump had incited violence at a political rally in the events leading up to the presidential election last November. I don't agree with that judge that he should have let it go forward because President Trump did not incite violence, but the concept is there. It's called an assault. And even if you don't beat someone up or pepper spray them or whatever, if you're threatening their life and they feel like they're in danger of severe bodily injury or death, that's actionable under our legal system. And Antifa, at a minimum, is doing that.
Well, clearly they are, and they readily admit that they are willing to threaten and resort to using violence. The thing with them is they cover themselves with masks. They're cowards there, how they do this. They attack those that are not armed or able to defend themselves. And so I guess when you go after them, if they're not an organized group, you have to go after the individuals, correct?
Correct, but there are others too. You know, we're going to get into discovery. That's when you can get documents, get testimony. George Soros, okay, that ultra-leftist, atheist billionaire who finances Antifa and other groups like that, ultimately we're going to seek to hold him accountable as well. And then there, of course, are people like President Obama, who out of his mansion in Washington, D.C., which he just bought for about $8 million, he's organizing these kinds of things. They want to destroy this country. They want to deconstruct it and then build it back up in their ultra-leftist image and view. This is a way to further their ideology, much like, in a bigger sense, the Bolsheviks did in the years leading up to the Russian Revolution. These people are as radical as the Bolsheviks. They're maybe not as great in number at this time, but they're growing. And that's why this is a significant threat. So the issue goes far beyond Berkeley. It goes into the existence of our country, First Amendment rights, and of course, Second Amendment rights. In California, it's very hard to carry here. But frankly, if students had that right, they perhaps would be better protected tonight. And that's why what the NRA does is so much important, because we do need to defend ourselves in these circumstances. We don't want to start violence. We don't want to create violence. We don't want to cause violence. But I think that people going to that rally, if this had been another state, would probably be carrying tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to scare anybody, or just as you said, we don't want to start anything, and when we carry it, it's strictly for self-defense. But if you have a band of radical liberal terrorists taking to the streets, you've got to have a way to defend yourself. And in California, that right has all but been taken away from you.
Absolutely. There are very limited areas of California where it is possible. But no one ever advocates violence, and I know the NRA doesn't. I certainly don't. But the reality is this is a significant risk tonight, so be careful, anybody that goes to that rally. The Berkeley police in the past have sat around and watched these things happen, and that's why they're a defendant in our lawsuit as well.
Well, Larry Klayman, great work over at Freedom Watch. We wish you all the best, and we'll check back in with you. We're interested to see how it all unfolds tonight, and you better believe NRATV will be there covering it.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless you as well. That's going to do it for us today on Stinchfield. And as I said, we do have a crew headed to Berkeley at this hour. We will be covering that story for you, because what this is about is much bigger than just the College of Berkeley or the town of Berkeley. This is about the destruction of America. This is about anarchy. This is about evil forces trying to tear our way of life apart. We cannot sit idly by and watch it happen. So we do broadcast to you with a clenched fist of truth. And that truth comes in the forms of words and information, and that information is power. Power you are not getting on any other cable network out there except this one right now. I'm Grant Stinchfield for NRATV. Thanks so much for watching.
You're watching NRATV with Grant Stinchfield.